Welcome to the Module 2 of the program. This will explain you on levels of prevention, including screening for NCDs. As you learned in the previous module, chronic NCDs have become the cause for around 84% of annual deaths in Sri Lanka. Further, these debilitating diseases affect individuals, families, and entire country in many ways. Therefore, prevention of NCDs is one of the main priorities in National Health Agenda. There are different strategies identified and practiced for prevention of NCDs. Screening for NCDs is a main strategy that is practiced for NCD prevention. Based on that, screening for commonest NCDs such as heart disease, hypertension, diabetes, and cancer conducted by the National Program for NCD in Sri Lanka.
As we are aware of the growing burden of non communicable diseases, it is important to take every measure at our disposal to prevent these chronic and debilitating diseases that affect not only the individual and families, but the country as a whole. At the end of this module, you will be able to explain what is meant by the term prevention with regard to NCDs, describe levels of prevention in relation to NCD prevention, describe the National Screening Program for NCDs. Well, what is prevention? The goals of medicine to promote health, preserve health, to restore health, and to minimize the suffering are embodied in the word prevention. Prevention can be defined as actions aimed at eradicating, eliminating, or minimizing the impact of disease and disability, or retarding the progress of disease and disability. The concept of prevention is best defined in the context of levels traditionally called primary, secondary, and tertiary prevention. However, a fourth level called primordial prevention was later included. It is important to keep in mind that successful prevention of chronic disease entity depends on the knowledge of its causes, natural history of the disease, identification of risk factors and risk groups, availability of measures for early detection, availability of treatment measures, and continuous evaluation. We have already discussed the risk factors of NCDs in the previous modules. Thus, there are behavioral risk factors, including tobacco use, unhealthy diet, physical inactivity, and use of alcohol. And there are intermediate risk factors, including hypertension, overweight, and obesity, hyperglycemia, and hyperlipidemia. All these behavioral and intermediate risk factors act cumulatively to eventually result in the NCDs. Thus, the objective of prevention of NCDs is to intercept these causes or risk factors of NCDs and thereby oppose the disease process. We shall now see the levels of prevention and how prevention relates to it. For the ease of understanding, keep the image of NCD risk factors shown previously in your mind. It is important to note here that there are no precise boundaries between levels of prevention. In other words, it is quite difficult to draw an exact line to differentiate between these levels of prevention. First, we shall look at primordial prevention. Primordial prevention is a novel concept, especially in relation to the prevention of chronic diseases. This is the primary prevention in its purest sense. Here, we aim to prevent the emergence of development of risk factors in population groups in which they are not yet appeared. We aim to prevent the emergence or development of risk factors in population groups in which they have not yet appeared. As an example, you know that intermediate risk factors of NCD, such as obesity and hypertension, have their early origins in childhood because this is the time when lifestyles are formed, such as unhealthy dietary behaviors, physical inactivity, smoking, and alcohol use. Thus, in primordial prevention, the preventive efforts will be directed towards discouraging the children to adopt such unhealthy lifestyles and encourage them to lead a healthy lifestyle. In Sri Lanka, a healthy diet is promoted among the school children through the school canteen circular. It is being made compulsory for all school children to engage in 20 minutes physical activity every day. Health and physical education is made a compulsory subject for grades 6, 7, and 8, and it is a basket subject for grades 9 and above. The main intervention in primordial prevention is through individual and mass health education. What is primary prevention? Primary prevention is the action taken prior to the onset of disease, which removes the possibility that a disease will ever occur. It signifies interviewing in the pre pathogenesis phase of a disease or a health problem. Primary prevention with regard to NCDs aims at elimination or modification of behavior. It signifies intervening in the pre pathogenesis phase of a disease or a health problem. Primary prevention with regard to NCDs aims at elimination or modification of behavioral risk factors, namely unhealthy diet, physical activity, tobacco, alcohol use, which hinder the development of intermediate risk factors that ultimately prevent the occurrence of NCDs. Primary prevention can be accomplished by measures designed to promote general health, well being, and quality of life. Basically, primary prevention is a holistic approach where measures are designed to promote health or to protect against and prevent the disease risk factors. The World Health Organization has recommended two approaches for the primary prevention of chronic diseases where the risk factors have already been established. These approaches are population or mass strategy and high risk strategy. The population strategy is directed at the whole population, irrespective of individual risk levels. As an example, evidence have shown that even a small reduction in the average blood pressure of the population would result in a large reduction of the cardiovascular disease incidence rate. Thus, the population strategy in this case would be towards the behavioral and lifestyle changes of the whole population. Happy Village initiative to create healthy villages in Sri Lanka and national programs on salt reduction, physical activity promotion, tobacco cessation, and alcohol cessation are few examples for population strategies. These programs will be discussed in detail later. The high risk strategy aims to bring preventive care to individuals who are specially at risk. As an example, here we may focus our preventive activities mainly on individuals who are 40 years and above, or for individuals with a family history of NCDs among first degree relatives. Giving specific individualized advices to clients that are screened at healthy lifestyle centers on prevention of their risk factors is an example for the high risk strategy. However, it is important to keep in mind that to have a population impact, all three approaches primordial prevention, population strategy, and high risk strategy should be implemented in parallel as they are complementary to each other. Secondary prevention includes the action which halts the progress of disease at its early stage and prevents complications. One specific intervention in secondary prevention of NCDs would be early diagnosis through screening, as in what is practiced currently in healthy lifestyle centers, where the eligible population is screened for NCDs. You will learn about the NCD screening program for NCDs later in this module. Other specific intervention in the secondary prevention of NCDs would be early initiation of the treatment. If any individual is found to have a NCD following screening at the HLC, they will be promptly referred to the medical clinic for initiation of treatment. By early diagnosis and early initiation of treatment during the secondary prevention, we aim to arrest the disease process, restore health by identifying undetected disease, and treat the disease before irreversible pathological changes may occur. As you may have acknowledged by now, secondary prevention is largely the domain of clinical medicine. However, the disadvantage of the secondary prevention over primary prevention is that the patient has already developed the disease. The patient has already been subjected to the physical pain and mental suffering following the disease. The individual, his or her family, and the country as a whole has already suffered the effects of loss of productivity, economical losses, and opportunity costs following the disease. It is also important to know that secondary prevention is often more expensive and less effective than primary prevention. Tertiary prevention. Tertiary prevention includes all measures to reduce or limit impairment and disabilities, minimize suffering caused by disease, and to promote the quality of life of the patient. By this point, the disease process has advanced beyond its early stages. Looking at a few examples of tertiary prevention in relation to NCDs, taking treatment even at a late stage of the disease may prevent the sequel and may limit the disability. Thus, in our setting, treatment and follow up at the medical clinic is an example for tertiary prevention. Furthermore, rehabilitation and palliation, including psychological, vocational, and medical components, will improve the quality of life of the patients who are already suffering with NCDs. You will learn about the palliative care services in a later module of this training. The image simplifies and summarizes what we have discussed and learned so far about levels of prevention in relation to the natural history of disease. Thus, the primordial and primary prevention measures will be taken before the development of the disease, addressing the risk factors, whereas secondary and tertiary prevention measures will be undertaken after the disease has been established to prevent the complications. The national population based prevention programs, such as primordial and primary prevention measures for prevention and control of NCDs, will be discussed later on a different module in this training. Now we shall look into details of the National NCD Screening Program in Sri Lanka, which is a secondary prevention measure for NCD prevention and control. As we know, NCDs are the leading cause of death in Sri Lanka, causing more deaths than all other causes combined. However, despite their rapid growth, much of the human and social impact caused each year by NCD related diseases and deaths, and they could be averted through well planned, cost effective, and feasible interventions. Early detection of main risk factors and health guidance are among the strategies identified within the national NCD policy framework to reduce disease burden of the country. Hence, establishing healthy lifestyle centers in healthcare institutions throughout the country has been an achievement for the implementation of the national screening program for chronic NCDs. Non-Communicable Disease Unit, Ministry of Health in Sri Lanka, initiated the Healthy Lifestyle Centres in 2011 to address the lack of structured non-communicable disease screening service through the lowest level of primary healthcare institutions. The main service objective of the Healthy Lifestyle Centres is to reduce the risk of NCDs of people more than 35-year-old by detecting risk factors early and improving access to specialized care for those with a high risk of cardiovascular disease. The screen clients are managed at healthy lifestyle centers or referred based on the results of the clinical assessments and investigations. Currently, there are a total of 1,005 institutional healthy lifestyle centers established all over the country, offering screening facilities and lifestyle modifications to public, thereby preventing the non-communicable disease in Sri Lanka. The eligibility criteria is defined as follows. Eligible persons for screening at healthy lifestyle centers fall under two categories. Category A, all apparently healthy persons 35 years and above. An apparently healthy person is defined as an individual who is not diagnosed to have cardiovascular disease, diabetes, cancer, chronic kidney disease, chronic liver disease, or dyslipidemia. Category B, persons between the age of 20 to 34 years having any of the following: smoking tobacco during the past 1 year, overweight, abdominal obesity, raised blood pressure, symptoms suggestive of diabetes mellitus, history of premature cardiovascular disease in first degree relatives, history of diabetes mellitus in first degree relatives, familial dyslipidemia. Frequency of screening, category A. The healthy adults aged 35 years and above should be screened every 3 years at the Healthy Lifestyle Center. Category B, persons between the age 20 to 34 years having the above mentioned risk factors should be screened annually at the Healthy Lifestyle Center. In addition, all participants above 35 years who attend the Well Women Clinic should be referred to the closest Healthy Lifestyle Center, and the female clients in 35 and 45 age cohorts attending Healthy Lifestyle Center should be referred to the relevant Well Women's Clinic. Staff of Well Women Clinic and Healthy Lifestyle Center should be aware on the facilities available on either setting. Recruitment for healthy lifestyle centers are from the following methods: opportunistic screening at OPD visits, self referral following community empowerment, through appointment by public health staff and health volunteers. Screening, management, and follow up of clients are to be carried out according to the national NCD guidelines for primary healthcare providers. They are as follows: cardiovascular risk management, management of diabetes mellitus, management of overweight and obesity, management of hyperlipidemia, management of chronic respiratory diseases. Healthy Lifestyle Center should be situated in a designated place in the primary healthcare institution, easily accessible to the clients and closer to the OPD. Congestion at the OPD should not disturb the activities of the Healthy Lifestyle Center. There should be a minimum of 2 rooms. One room can be used for examination and individual counseling, and the other for group discussions. Adequate lighting, ventilation, water supply, and toilet facilities should be available. Clinic sessions should be conducted at least once a week with the participation of at least 20 clients per session. If resources permit, all healthy lifestyle centers should be conducted from Monday to Saturday. To improve the male participation and to capture the working population, the duration of screening activities can be extended up to 6 p.m. or open on public holidays with the permission and approval of the relevant authorities. Healthy lifestyle centers should be conducted by the MORMO in the primary healthcare institutions and by MO Public Health, MO Health Promotion, or any other health medical officer in other institutions. Nursing officer, diabetic nursing officer, health education nursing officer, health education officer, and volunteers may provide support to carry out clinic activities. A standard essential list of equipment, including furniture and stationery, is prepared for a healthy lifestyle center and should be available in every healthy lifestyle center. It includes table, chairs, cupboard, filing cabinet, examination bed, glucometer and strips, cholesterol meter and strips, blood pressure apparatus, weight scale with height measuring, Snellen chart, tuning fork, BMI banner, measuring tape, television, USB pen drive, hand washing sink, color coded garbage bins, wall clock, telephone or intercom phone, workstation, monochrome ink tank or laser printer. Three main functions are offered at the Healthy Lifestyle Center. They are screening for main NCD risk factors and disease, lifestyle modifications and referral, follow up of clients. These are the steps occurring when the client comes to the Healthy Lifestyle Center: orientation of the NCD screening program, its importance, and a health education session on a selected topic is the first thing occurring in the Healthy Lifestyle Center. Then the clients are registered and personal medical records are issued for every eligible client. Once registered, the client is screened for the main NCD risk factors and diseases. Cardiovascular risk assessment is performed utilizing the WHO risk prediction chart validated for Sri Lanka. Lifestyle modification is offered to the client appropriate to the situation, while appropriate referral will be done to the relevant institution. Health promotion activities and programs are conducted in the Healthy Lifestyle Center accordingly with the available resources and time. Follow up of clients is another essential service offered at the Healthy Lifestyle Center. Registration is performed in the Healthy Lifestyle Center. Participants register manually as well in the Hospital Information Management System, named as HIMS Cloud NCD module. Every eligible client is issued with the PMR or the personal medical record based on their gender. The personal medical record is a comprehensive medical record book where all medical encounters can be recorded. There's a separate section to record the encounter in the Healthy Lifestyle Center in the PMR. The following NCD risk factors are screened at the Healthy Lifestyle Center: smoking, alcohol use, physical activity, unhealthy diet. Screening for major NCDs include screening for cardiovascular disease is by estimating the 10-year risk of developing cardiovascular disease by WHO chart. Hypertension is screened by measuring blood pressure. Dyslipidemia is screened by performing the capillary total cholesterol. Diabetes is screened by performing fasting or random capillary blood sugar. Overweight and obesity is screened by measuring weight, height, waist circumference, and calculating BMI and weight to height ratio. Overweight and obesity is screened by measuring. Breast and oral cancer screening is performed via breast and oral examination. Referral for pap smear to the MOH office is performed in relation to the cervical cancer screening. Screening for chronic kidney disease is conducted via performing serum creatinine if the facilities are available in the situation. Chronic non communicable diseases are associated with many risk behaviors. These can be modified with supportive policies and environmental and personal motivation to adopt healthy behaviors. Health workers at the primary level can support personal motivation through creating general awareness and appropriate individual guidance on healthy lifestyles. Lifestyle modification counseling at the Healthy Lifestyle Center focuses on 11 areas based on the main NCD risk factors that are associated with the chronic NCDs: smoking, alcohol, unhealthy diet, and physical inactivity. These areas are cessation of smoking, cessation of alcohol use, maintaining of adequate BMI, engage in regular physical activity, take 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day, restrict added salt consumption to 1 tablespoon per day, restrict sugar consumption, minimize consumption of foods containing trans fatty acids, engage in activities that will promote mental health, and know your health status. Referral to appropriate clinic or institution according to the health conditions is performed according to the NCD management guidelines at primary care level. Referrals are done to the following institutions, including medical clinic in the institution, specialist clinic, healthy lifestyle center, well women clinic, and dental clinic. Primordial and primary preventive programs are conducted at healthy lifestyle centers involving the community, such as conduction of health education sessions at healthy lifestyle centers, exercise programs, yoga programs, exhibitions on healthy lifestyles, awareness programs in settings, schools, workplace, communities, celebration of special days. Other programs are also conducted, such as conduction of outreach mobiles and establishment of health corners for self assessment. The follow up of clients at healthy lifestyle centers can be categorized into 3 categories. They are routine 3 year screening of clients with normal screening and 3 monthly or 6 monthly follow up of clients who have chronic vascular disease risk of more than 10%. Following up of clients referred to medical and specialized care. Following up of clients with risk factors for behavioral modifications. Documents available at healthy lifestyle centers are circulars and other guidelines, guidelines for primary health care providers, personal health records, participant registers with the page summary, monthly summary of healthy lifestyle center activities, posters depicting the common NCD risk factors, and clip charts. Chronic NCD surveillance is routinely performed via the Health Information Management System from HLC screening programs. Information management is routinely carried out based on the following registers, records, and returns: participants register, follow up register, monthly report of activities done for NCD screening at HLC, monthly summary of the screening activities done in the district, quarterly summary of the screening activities done in the district. Surveillance of the NCD risk factors and disease is conducted routinely via this HMIS or the Health Information Management System. A national database is maintained for chronic NCD screening at HLCs. Monitoring the coverage or quality of services is provided through the KPI at the national level. Feedback is provided by producing the quarterly NCD report. The Non Communicable Disease Unit of the Ministry of Health will provide technical guidance to establish HLC, training to all medical officers on screening and management of NCDs, and provide PMR registers and returns health educational material, review supervision tool monthly. Feedback based on quarterly or annual reports on coverage and quality, national level evaluation and rewarding. In summary, the conception of prevention is best defined at different levels, such as primordial, primary, secondary, and tertiary levels. Primary prevention of chronic diseases where the risk factors have already been established is through population strategy where intervention is directed at the whole population irrespective of individual risk levels, and high risk strategy which aims to bring preventive care to individuals at special risk. Healthy lifestyle centers have been established to facilitate the NCD screening